Parashat Pinchas. Have you ever had the feeling that you just don't understand why what you did last time isn't working this time? Why the exact same approach to a child, to a work colleague, to a situation that really met with tremendous success in a previous occasion, this time falls flat on its face and you can't work out why? Seems same situation, nothing fundamentally seems to have changed. So why shouldn't the solution that worked previously work again? This is the problem that we have in our parasha this week with the perspective of the midrashic tradition from the rabbis. You see, at the beginning of the parasha, Pinchas is given a pat on the back by Hashem. Well done, you took control when Zimri and Cosby were acting inappropriately. You stabbed them both, put an end to their negative behavior, calmed God down, no more plague, no more deaths, everything was going well, Briti Shalom, covenant of peace, all seemed to be fantastic. Yet, the Midrash tells us that we have a tradition that Pinchas re-emerges as Elijah the prophet. At the time of Elijah is very hot-headed, he's angry, the Jews are worshipping idols, their commitment to God is very, very iffy and very shaky. Little bit like a pick and mix, choosing this and choosing that, a bit of idol worship, a bit of Jewish worship, put it all together and we have some newfangled religion. And Pinchas gets angry and he's frustrated. But it worked last time. His anger, his criticism, his causing things to calm down. Why doesn't it work in the future? And here's the point. See, in the desert, they were living almost like a Yom Kippur existence. Not from the fact of fasting or not eating or drinking, but from the perspective of being close to God all the time. And when you're close to God, you're living on a higher frequency. Sometimes you can, and it's okay to act in a more severe way. But later on in history, things were different. The Jewish people were living in a world where it wasn't so obvious that God was real. It wasn't so obvious that you had to worship God. They were being seduced by a whole array of different lifestyles, and you can't react the same. You've got to know when it is appropriate to use anger and when it is appropriate to find another approach. So Pinchas could get very angry in the context of the desert because it was so obvious. And how can you do that? But if he's using that same rage in another context, then maybe it sheds a light that previously he wasn't so motivated by the honor of God, but here's a hot-headed fellow that needs to calm down. And possibly the covenant of peace that we read about wasn't so much a Nobel Peace Prize, but was actually a large dose of tranquilizer to calm him down. See, and here's the point. We have to be sensitive to the changing circumstances. What worked before might not work in the present. Just because an approach or an attitude has worked for decades, life changes, people move on, the dynamics change, and we have to keep inventing coming up with new solutions, reinventing ourselves, keeping our traditions, of course, but recognizing what is the correct way to act in the present context. Shabbat Shalom.